अगर हमें बता पाएं एक बार।
ब्लास्ट हुआ, आवाज आई ब्लास्ट की, ब्लास्ट के बाद आग लग गई, फिर वो आग बढ़ती चली गई, सारे लोग भागे तो हम भी अपनी गाड़ी में से उतर के भाग गए।
लगभग कितने बजे की ये बात है? और
7 बजे की बात है सर।
लगभग 7 बजे की बात है। और आप यहीं मतलब
मैं अपनी गाड़ी में बैठा था, फोन चला रहा था।
अच्छा, तो ये हमें बताया जा रहा है कि गेट नंबर 1 के पास का ये मामला है। आप कितनी दूर थे लगभग उस साइड से?
मैं 100 मीटर दूर था।
अच्छा, बताया जा रहा है
मेरी गाड़ी 100 मीटर दूर थी ब्लास्ट से।
अच्छा, बताया जा रहा है कि इसमें कुछ लोगों की जान भी गई है, कुछ लोग घायल भी हैं।
जान गई है बिल्कुल।
कितने लोग आपके हिसाब से? लगभग
8-10 लोग खत्म हुए हैं।
अच्छा, और उसके बाद फिर फायर टेंडर्स और ये पुलिस की गाड़ी आई लगभग कितनी देर में?
पुलिस की गाड़ी 5 मिनट में आ गई सर।
अच्छा, 5 मिनट में आ गई।
और पुलिस की गाड़ी 5 मिनट में आ गई, फायर ब्रिगेड भी 5 मिनट में आ गई और आग पे काबू पाया सबने। और हमारे पुलिस अधिकारियों ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया।
अच्छा, हमें बताया जा रहा है कि अभी पुलिस कमिश्नर ने बताया कि एक स्लो व्हीकल था जिसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ। आपके हिसाब से क्या कुछ किसी
गाड़ी स्लो ही चल रही थी? गाड़ी तेज नहीं चल रही थी। गाड़ी तेज चलने का मतलब ही नहीं है। गाड़ी तो स्लो ही चल रही थी।
नहीं, तो ये ब्लास्ट गाड़ी में हुआ है। बताया जा रहा है कि एक स्लो चलती हुई गाड़ी थी, उसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ है।
सर ऐसा नहीं कह सकता मैं किस चीज में ब्लास्ट हुआ है। मैं अपनी गाड़ी में बैठा हूँ और ब्लास्ट हो गया तो मुझे भी नहीं पता इस बात का।
अच्छा, ठीक है, आप सब कुशल हैं, आपको तो कहीं?
हाँ, मैं ठीक हूँ सर।
All right. So this person was very much here available when this explosion happened.
So that's what the eyewitness says. He was sitting 100 meters away in his car operating phone chala raha tha. He was sitting and browsing his phone. That's when he heard this explosion. And it was a slow moving vehicle. Was this vehicle going to a particular area and an intended destination? Why were there people inside the car? What was their intent? Was this a sticky bomb or a fertilizer urea bomb that just went ahead of its time and it took away along with the intended and of course people innocents around the terrorist module 2? One suspect is in custody. That one suspect could divulge many more details. Is it linked to this massive haul that's happened because of the investigations over the last one whole week that culminated with a huge haul of 3,000 kilograms of near explosive material or explosive making material, along with the arrests of 2 doctors and a third one who could be a known accomplice? Is this a larger module? Is somebody planning a series of attacks in Bharat? And is this happening 7 months after Operation Sindoor? All authorities are on high alert. Delhi, Mumbai, UP, the NCR region on high alert, viewers. 8 people dead, 20 people injured. This is the Red Fort blast and this is continuous coverage. Rahul Shivshankar with us now.
Very big day, viewers. Very significant day. Remember, Operation Sindoor is still on. I'm not trying to draw any parallels here. We don't quite know if this is a terror incident or not. But what I can tell you is that the Delhi Police Commissioner Satish Golcha has come out today and said that at around 6:52 p.m. in the evening, a slow-moving vehicle stopped at the red light. So this was a vehicle that was on the move. It comes to a crawl and stops eventually at a red light. An explosion happened in this particular vehicle and it damaged the other vehicles around it. Viewers, as you know, this was a high-intensity blast. We don't quite know what the nature of the explosive was. We don't even know if it was triggered as some sort of a foul play or a terror incident, because none of that has been confirmed. All we can tell you is that the FSL, which is the Forensic Science Laboratory team, the NIA, the Delhi Police Special Cell, they're all crawling and combing this particular area. They've cordoned it off. Massive blast in the sense, viewers, that the intensity was so great that the cars that were close to this particular vehicle, this slow-moving vehicle that suddenly stopped at a traffic light and exploded, all of those cars, viewers, have been charred, their doors ripped off their frames, and there have been casualties. We've been told that 8 people are dead. They were brought dead to the hospital. They obviously didn't survive it. Some of their bodies were in a mangled situation. Some of them were, viewers, severed at joints and limbs. And we have been told by eyewitnesses, and those videos are out there, which I will play for you in just a few moments, that there were a large number of body parts that were strewn across this particular area. We don't quite know, viewers, if there are others who are in a state of criticality. What we can tell you is that several others have been admitted to hospital. The local hospital is very, very close by. They're taken in an ambulance. The ambulance were called there. There were private ambulances that were called there because the police chowki or the police booth in the area quickly hailed them, and they came in, and we've heard from various ambulance drivers that the scene was blood-curdling, to say the least. So, viewers, you've had a situation where there's been a blast in Delhi. We don't know if this is linked to terror antecedents, but it's now safe to say that there might have been foul play, that there might have been links, that this was a suspected IED explosion, and therefore there are reasons to believe, pending confirmation, viewers, that this was a nefarious act committed by some diabolical individuals. If you really look at the larger picture, it's come on the back, really, of a crackdown that has been extending over 48 hours, viewers. 48 hours across the country, specifically in the north, specifically in Jammu and Kashmir, Faridabad, Haryana, etc., as well as on the East Coast, viewers, where, or West Coast rather, viewers, where a whole bunch of individuals, including 4 doctors, have been picked up because they were harboring some devastating quantities of explosives. There were 2 operations. There were 2 sets of people who have been nabbed. In each set, there were doctors, viewers. So the police has come out and suggested that terror has gone white collar terrorists. That's all happening in the backdrop, and then you have this particular blast. Just when we were thinking that perhaps a larger conspiracy had been stalled, we have this blast in the heart of the union capital. We haven't had a blast of this nature since 2011. The Delhi High Court blast where there were casualties. First time, viewers, since then there has been a blast of this magnitude. And I just want to quickly go across to our reporters on the ground. I want to go straight across to Anshul to get the latest there from the ground. We'll play out also, of course, the Delhi Police Commissioner's soundbite. We'll also play out Verite, which is eyewitnesses, and also we will boost the audio on the footage all in one step, and we'll open this up to our experts. Yes, Anshul, what can you tell us? What's happening on the ground there?
I'll just try and show you in the visuals over here. This is a part of the vehicle that initially blasted. If you could just see the condition of this entire gate, this is one of the gates of the vehicle that had blasted and come all the way on the other side of the road. And if you could just see in the visuals, this is the exact red light where the said incident had happened, where the vehicle came out in slow speed, and then eventually a blast occurred. And you can imagine the magnitude of the blast, that this one gate of the said vehicle has now come out and landed on the other side of the road. So you can imagine the magnitude of this entire blast. And if I can just give you a sense of this location, this red light, these are the main gates of Chandni Chowk Market, the main gates of the Chandni Chowk Market, where vehicular movement is not allowed. You can only enter through your feet. And on the other side, bang opposite, is the Red Fort, from where the Prime Minister gives his 15th August speech. So this is one of the high-profile areas, one of the areas which sees a lot of footfall day in and day out. And this magnitude of blast that has happened, at least 8 people have been...
Well, there's some more big breaking news coming in. Anshul, just hold your thoughts. Delhi Police is confirming to CNN News 18 that it was a Hyundai i20 car. The vehicle had 2 or 3 occupants. The impact of the rear of the vehicle is where most of the impact took place, because the blast really took place from there. In the context of the present scenario, the police saying we've alerted security personnel. This is coming from Kolkata Metro, because a large number of warnings have been issued to major metropolises, because, viewers, as I told you, it's happening in the backdrop of the police cracking down on a major terror cell. So we've recovered in a previous incident just this morning and overnight 2.5 tons of ammonium nitrate, which was an explosive that was used by the Indian Mujahideen, viewers, if you remember, in the 2000s, right up till, of course, the 2611 blasts. And in those attacks, ammonium nitrate, a kind of ingredient that goes in for fertilizers, was used, and that is what was recovered. We also are being told that the basic ingredients to prepare one sort of gas that is used to basically kill large numbers of people. It's an odorless gas, and it is called resin. That was, of course, also recovered. So there are these many connections. And in the backdrop of that, viewers, we've had this terror attack. It's now been confirmed that this was a terror attack. A Hyundai car with 2 or 3 occupants comes up It crawls to a stop near a traffic light just outside, in fact, the Lal Qila or the Red Fort metro station. It's detonated. You have a number of people who then immediately on the spot find themselves in very bad state. 8 die en route to the hospital. The first big terror incident, viewers, has taken place after 2011 in the Union capital, the Delhi High Court blast. We'll try to pull out footage from back then and try and split the screen. But fundamentally, viewers, this is a major development. Now we know that some 2 or 3 people were in that car in an I-20, and that, in fact, was the one that blew up, and it detonated other cars around it. So at least 6 or 7 other vehicles were impacted, and you can see that some of those vehicles are still lying about there, strewn across the entire incident site, viewers, and they look in advanced state of disrepair. No crater has been found on the spot. The vehicle was slow moving. No pellet injury prima facie. There are many burn wounds to some of the other people who have taken to the hospital and are undergoing treatment. We don't know if they're in a critical condition, but suffice to think that there will be, of course, people who will be grievously injured in all of this. And you can see one of them there. It's a 3-wheeler auto rickshaw driver who's trying to haul his damaged, mangled auto rickshaw out of harm's way. We do know that there are, of course, casualties that have taken place. 8. Let me just quickly go back to Anshul. Anshul, what are you seeing on the spot there?
Well, I'll just try and show you in the visuals. The first thing that is clearly visible is this gate of the vehicle that got hampered in the blast. Probably this is the gate of that I-20 vehicle that eventually resulted in the blast. Apart from this, if I could just give you a sense of this entire area, this is the red light where, in fact, the vehicle came out initially slowly, started to slow down over here, and then eventually a blast happened. There were people who were sitting inside the vehicle, is what we are being told. At least 3 people is what sources are telling us. But were they male, were they female, were there any children also present over there? That is something that has still not been confirmed. But apart from that, if you look at this entire locality, this will give you a very clear sense as to what is the exact location over here. This is the main gate of Chandni Chowk. The Jan Mandir is right over here, and bang opposite is the location from where the Prime Minister gives his 15th August speech. So this is one of the high-profile areas, and an area where there is a massive footfall that happens. And even after that, such an incident has happened. What are the exact reasons? Was it an IED that was used? Was it some other? Was it some other thing that was used, or was it just a general CNG blast? This is something that we are waiting for an official confirmation to come in. But even as the investigation is going on, the agencies and Delhi Police are not ruling out anything at this point in time. They continue to maintain that it is too early to come to any conclusion.
Let me play out that soundbite, viewers, for your confirmation. You can listen to how circumspect the Delhi police chief was. Let's play that out, and then I want to go straight across to Anvit and also bring in Major Gaurav Arya into this conversation. Yes.
आज करीब 6:52 पे एक यहाँ पे रेड लाइट पे एक स्लो मूविंग व्हीकल जो रेड लाइट की तरफ आके रुका था, उसमें एक ये एक्सप्लोजन हुआ है। उस वक्त गाड़ी के अंदर जो पैसेंजर्स उसके अंदर ही थे, और इस एक्सप्लोजन से जो है आसपास की गाड़ियों में भी क्षति हुई। जैसे ही इसकी खबर मिली, हम सारी एजेंसीज जो है, दिल्ली पुलिस, FSL, NIA, NSG, उनकी टीम्स यहाँ पे आ चुकी हैं और हालात का जायजा भी ले रही है। हर तरीके से इस जो है एक्सप्लोजन के बारे में जांच की जा रही है, और जल्दी ही इसका आकलन करके इसका जो भी रिज़ल्ट निकलेगा वो आपको बताया जाएगा। इस इंसिडेंट में कुछ लोग को इंजरीज भी आई हैं और कुछ लोगों की डेथ भी हुई है, तो वो अभी हालात का जायजा लिया जा रहा है और एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स जो हैं आपको कुछ ही देर में बता दी जाएंगी। और सिचुएशन को रेगुलरली मॉनिटर किया जा रहा है, और गृह मंत्री जी भी जो है उनसे रेगुलरली उनका फ़ोन भी आया था, उनको रेगुलरली ब्रीफ किया जा रहा है और उनको टाइम टू टाइम पूरी सूचना दी जा रही है, और आगे जैसे भी हालात होंगे, जो भी नतीजा निकलेगा आपको बताया जाएगा।
Well, we are being told, viewers, and it's bad news. 2 more people have lost their lives. So there are 10 people now in total that have lost their lives in this particular incident, viewers. We still await final confirmation from the police whether this is actually a terror incident, but I can tell you that a large number of metropolises across India have been put on high alert. Mumbai, you have Srinagar, Noida, you have huge worry and security detailing taking place in Kolkata, Ghaziabad. As I said, viewers, all these metropolises have been placed on high alert. I want to very quickly go across to Anvit. Anvit, give us an overview really of what the investigations are likely to determine in the next few hours. We're being told that a large number of people have been detained. They are thought to be suspects. Can you clarify this? What is this news? How can there be suspects when 3 individuals in a car supposedly were the cause of this blast?
Rahul, see, what initial details have emerged from Delhi Police's investigation is that it was an I-20 car, and that was a slow-moving I-20 car in which explosion took place. And we are being told that it was on the rear side of the vehicle that the explosion took place, which could possibly be the boot of the car, where usually if it was an explosive, if there was a use of RDX or IED, then that is the place where usually it has been seen previously also. It had been concealed. You can see ambulances are still making their way into the hospitals. This is, n number of ambulances that are coming in, rushing into the hospital from the spot, and regularly these ambulances have been spotted here. But regardless of that, investigation is currently going on. Delhi Police have said that in that I-20 car, what they have initial investigation has shown that at least there were 2 to 3 occupants. The senior police officials from Delhi Police has confirmed this, and we also asked that if any of them have been in Delhi Police's custody or any of them could be apprehended from the spot. However, there's no clarity on that officially so far.
Okay.
But Delhi Police have said that there were 2 to 3 occupants. It was an I-20 car. This car was slow moving, and then explosion takes place, and nearby vehicles have also been impacted. Also, 2 things have been confirmed, that there are no pellet injuries and there was no crater on the ground that has been noticed by the forensics team. So this also hints that there could not be any explosive if possible. There were no splinters used, and also no crater has been found. So investigation on all aspects are currently underway. Priority of Delhi Police and Delhi Fire Services and the first responders is to make sure that the site is cleared, and those who are injured and those who seek medical attention, they are rushed to hospital. We are right now outside LNGP hospital, where at least 8 officially have been confirmed dead, while at least 16 people are injured. We are being told that 2 or more have been pronounced dead. However, official confirmation of that from the director of LNGP is yet to be out. But what we are being told that at least 5 to 6 are others who are critically injured, and their situation is currently being continuously monitored.
Well, we're being told, viewers, that Chandni Chowk market to be closed on Tuesday following the blast near the Red Fort. Market Association President Sanjay Bhargav has come out and said so. This is obviously an attempt, viewers, to ensure that there is no other untoward incident in the days ahead. Because remember, I told you, viewers, that this blast has taken place in the backdrop of a massive terror crackdown across the length and breadth of North India, viewers. 2 separate crackdowns involving doctors turned jihadis, viewers, who had amassed huge amounts of explosives. One particular doctor was harboring the ingredients to make a chemical weapon, the ingredients to make a gas, viewers, that could kill hundreds of people on dispersal. And another doctor and his accomplices had amassed 2.5 tons of ammonium nitrate, an ingredient that is used to make explosives. And it was thought that perhaps by this particular crackdown, a major tragedy would have been averted. But unfortunately, viewers, we've had an incident, we've had a blast. I can't right now tell you whether this is a terror attack, but indications are that it might be. A number of people are dead, 10, according to the top line number that we've received. Several others are injured. This particular blast in magnitude and in casualties matches the 2011 Delhi High Court blast. First time in 14 years, viewers, that we've had a blast of this magnitude in the capital. We're being told that a car that was perhaps driven by one individual accompanied by 2 or 3 others came to a halt, a gradual halt near a traffic light right outside the Red Fort metro station and suddenly exploded. The explosion was so intense and the fireball so big that it quickly engulfed four other cars around it, viewers, reducing it to ashes and reducing those cars to mulch, basically. That's why we have these casualties. 10 that died pretty much on the spot, viewers, even before they could be taken to hospital because their bodies were dismembered. Eyewitnesses have told us that. We'll play out those sound bites in just a few moments. I want to quickly go across to Major Gaurav Arya and get a sense really of what he's making of all of this. Gaurav Arya, can't say right now if this is a terror attack. Indications are nothing is being ruled out. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Rahul. Rahul, this is certainly not an accident. I mean, that has occurred. This is not some, LNG gas or something that has burst or something like that, because it's the sheer circumference of the blast is so much that this is an explosive that has been used. I don't know what kind. We'll have to wait for the experts to let us know whether it was RDX or any other kind of plastic explosive. But this is certainly not a low-grade explosive. So that is all that I can say. Plus, to have this kind of an impact, you will need a lot of low-grade explosive. And we are told that the car was an I-10. So perhaps, and this is a guess, this is an educated guess at best from my part, that on my part, that this is not an accident. You can see the visuals. It does not look like an accident. I don't have much information on this, but I can say one thing that 2.5 tons of ammonium nitrate, which is not very difficult to procure, by the way. It's not that it's coming from Pakistan. It's from inside India. And castor oil, we've all had castor oil as kids. We didn't like it necessarily, but ricin is from castor oil plant. So that can be used as a weapon, as a biological weapon, as a chemical weapon. So all these things have been collected for a long time. And the police, last 48 hours, like you mentioned, the cops had tightened the noose. And this explosion happened. Circumstantial evidence points to the fact that this is a terror act, but we cannot say for sure. We'll have to wait for the experts to, guide us on that one and educate us on that one.
Well, Major Arya, of course, one of the modules, or one of the fragments of the modules, was actually traced to Faridabad. So that's very much in the NCR region.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
one could conjecture that perhaps somebody in the larger module decided to go ahead before they were discovered. So it's possible, viewers.
Absolutely. Rahul, absolutely. This is exactly what I had in mind, that since the dragnet was closing, there was a sense of desperation that we have to do something before we get caught. And there is one more thing I'd like to say. I've often repeated this. I just tweeted it when the show started, that हमारा इतिहास है किले के दरवाजे हर समय अंदर से खुलते हैं. It's always somebody who opens the doors of the fort from within the fort. This has been our history for hundreds of years.
Well, viewers, too early to speculate, but we will have that conversation in just a few moments. NND Dubey, former DIG BSF, joins us also. RK Yadav, former RNAW officer, also with us. We will be opening this out to more guests in just a few moments. But quickly, let's pick the brains of some of our experts. NND Dubey Saab, what do you make of this? This comes on the back of a crackdown on a wider terror net.
Actually, if you see the pattern since last 15 days or 1 month, some arrests have been made by UP police, some from Delhi police. So the things, indications were coming that the sleeper cells and modules are getting activated, and these agencies were very closely working on that. Now, next is that it's a very surprising that at this point of time, this Ansar Ghazwatul, the organization which was basically silenced in 2020 after killing of the third terrorist of the same organization. If you see the Zakir Musa, 2017, he parted away from Hizbul Mujahideen. Then he created his own organization. I mean, just inspired by the Al-Qaeda to create, to completely implement the Sharia in India. And he took the fight for 2 years. And finally, he was killed. Once he was killed, then another successor rose up from Lalihari, from Lalihar village of Pulwama. And as you know, in history of terrorism, nothing is possible without involvement of South Kashmir. Terrorism started from Anantnag, Pulwama, and if in dream someday it will be shunned, it will be again in the same South Kashmir. So the third terrorist was killed. That his name was Hamid, in 2020. So in 2025, probably this doctor basically he was a person took responsibility to revive the Ansar Ghazwatul. And if you take the incident of attempt to for a very big violence in Gorakhnath Mandir a few years back,
Yes.
that terrorist was also basically Bavasta with the same organization. So it was basically effort of revivalism of this terror organization, and a very clued up SHO of JNK police, thanks to him, to his clues, his brain, and he very silently and wisely worked on the poster theory, because in the night they were pasting few posters on the masjid and few public places. Same thing happened in 2001 when Jammu Kashmir Freedom Force chief Khalid was killed. That clue was again linked with the pasting posters in the midnight, in the darkness, on the public wall. So he worked very silently, and he is the person, that JK police officer, who brought the entire story before Haryana police. That raid is conducted in Faridabad,
So let me...
Saharanpur. So that is a very great work. It is done, and they basically prevented something very big going to happen. But this current incident of this
So
Lal
you're
Qila,
saying it could have been bigger. It could have been a bigger incident
yeah,
that could have
definitely
happened. We
bigger,
stall
bigger
that.
is a bigger plan.
Okay, so just very quickly, viewers, we're getting news that the casualty rate is going up. It's gone up to 10. We're being told that there are some others who are also critical, and that the casualty rate might actually go up. And in fact, in our top bands, we're just going to change that from 8 to now 10, because that's confirmed. We're also told that a slow-moving I-20 came up to a traffic light right outside the metro station, the Red Fort metro station, and suddenly there was a blast triggered in that. And that blast was of such high intensity that 4 or 5 other vehicles around that particular I-20 also exploded. And everyone within those was severely injured. Some died. Body parts were strewn across the blast site, indicating that even though low-grade explosives or some low-grade substance might have exploded, the intensity was so high. And you can see, these are visuals, viewers, to the top left of your screen, of inside the metro station, the escalator, and you can even see that the escalator that goes down into the metro station has borne the brunt of the impact. So obviously the blast was so high intensity that windows, other little booths, etc., where the ticket master sits and others sit, have also been damaged. So there's been extensive damage all around. It would have been a very intense blast. And I want to once again go back to Anshul, if he's there with me. DG BSF, we just spoke to RK Yadav, former RNAW officer, is also here with us. I'm just going to go straight across to Ananya. Ananya, what is the news coming out of the LNJP hospital and, of course, from the police? What are you hearing? Ananya, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think we have Ananya right now. We're going to try and quickly patch you, viewers, across to Ananya. The police chief of Delhi has come and given us a soundbite, and in that soundbite, he's been very, very circumspect. He hasn't actually even come out and at any level confirmed that this was a terror incident. So, viewers, that caveat being said, let's go across to Ananya. Yes, Ananya, go ahead, please. Tell us what's happening.
Well, absolutely. We are having people and there's constant support that's been given out by the LNJP administration. Almost 8 to 10 people who have been reported as casualties here, and more than 20 injured is what we have known. Though, it's a kind of a chaotic situation, but we'll have to wait for an official figure to come in. So it is in fact something that the LNJP administration is handling at this particular juncture, and they are ensuring that all kind of a medical support is actually extended to people who are not only injured but also if there is any kind of a casualty, but one can be saved. If you, I'll ask my camera person with Jaguri to show you around as to how situation is. Ambulances are rushing in absolutely at this particular point of time, and constantly medical support is being offered by the LNJP administration, because this is one of the prime hospitals in the national capital.
We're going to cut back across to Anshul to get details from the scene. We've had one preliminary conversation with some insiders in the Delhi police who have given us some more details. The fact that an I-20 car was the one in which this blast was triggered. And you can see the chassis of that particular car mangled, only the tires remain, viewers. But fundamentally, the Delhi police chief has come out and he has said very clearly that there was a blast in a car that approached the traffic light. It crawled up to it. At that particular point in time, it was 6:55 in the evening, prime rush hour traffic, viewers, and the car suddenly explodes. There were 3 individuals inside that car. And the force of that explosion was so great, and the fireball so immense, that it engulfed 3 or 4 other cars in the vicinity, reducing them to wrecks. Anshul is there with us. Anshul, give me a quick update from what you're hearing from within your police sources. What really is the investigation focusing on?
I just spoke to a top police officer out here in the national capital, and the details have come out of the investigation that has been done till now. The blast that happened on the rear end of the vehicle, which means that the vehicle blasted from behind. That is from the boot, is what the police is suspecting at this point in time, because the kind of impact that has happened on that vehicle, it is becoming evidently clear that the blast happened from the rear end. Apart from that, there were 3 people who were present inside the vehicle. These people whose bodies has been recovered. There are no splint.
7 बजे दिल्ली में लाल किले के पास सुभाष मार्ग ट्रैफिक सिग्नल पर I-20 हुंडई गाड़ी में एक ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ब्लास्ट के कारण आसपास की कुछ गाड़ियां और कुछ मार्ग पर जा रहे लोग भी इंजर्ड होने के समाचार हैं। प्राथमिक सूचना जो मिली है उसमें कुछ लोग हताहत भी हुए हैं। ब्लास्ट की सूचना आते ही 10 मिनट में दिल्ली क्राइम ब्रांच, दिल्ली स्पेशल ब्रांच की टीमें स्पॉट पर पहुंची है। NSG और NIA की टीम FSL के साथ अभी गहन जांच करने का शुरू किया है। आसपास के स्थान के सभी CCTV कैमरा और बाकी सब चीज़ों की जांच के आदेश दे दिए गए हैं। मेरी CP दिल्ली से भी बात हुई है, स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज से भी बात हुई है। CP दिल्ली और स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज स्पॉट पर मौजूद हैं। हम सभी संभावनाओं को तलाश रहे हैं और सभी संभावनाओं को ध्यान में रखकर इसकी गहन जांच की जाएगी। सभी ऑप्शन की तुरंत जांच होकर नतीजा जो आएगा, जांच हम जनता के सामने रखेंगे। मैं कुछ ही देर में स्पॉट पर भी जा रहा हूं और अस्पताल में भी मैं तुरंत जाऊंगा।
Well, the Union Home Minister says he's going to be very quickly going across to the spot to see for himself what has transpired over the last 3 hours, viewers. This has been a deadly, deadly blast outside the vicinities of the Red Fort in Chandni Chowk. It has taken place within a few feet of the metro station there, the Red Fort metro station, and I-20 suddenly exploded. The I-20, the explosion was so grave and so big and overwhelming, of such a high intensity, that it reduced a few cars around it to wrecks, and also several others, viewers, were injured and possibly even died. Let's listen once again to Amit Shah.
दिल्ली में लाल किले के पास सुभाष मार्ग ट्रैफिक सिग्नल पर I-20 हुंडई गाड़ी में एक ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ब्लास्ट के कारण आसपास की कुछ गाड़ियां और कुछ मार्ग पर जा रहे लोग भी इंजर्ड होने के समाचार हैं। प्राथमिक सूचना जो मिली है उसमें कुछ लोग हताहत भी हुए हैं। ब्लास्ट की सूचना आते ही 10 मिनट में दिल्ली क्राइम ब्रांच, दिल्ली स्पेशल ब्रांच की टीमें स्पॉट पर पहुंची है। NSG और एनआईए की टीम एफएसएल के साथ अभी गहन जांच करने का शुरू किया है। आसपास के स्थान के सभी सीसीटीवी कैमरा और बाकी सब चीज़ों की जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं। मेरी सीपी दिल्ली से भी बात हुई है, स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज से भी बात हुई है। सीपी दिल्ली और स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज स्पॉट पर मौजूद हैं। हम सभी संभावनाओं को तराश रहे हैं और सभी संभावनाओं को ध्यान में रखकर इसकी गहन जांच की जाएगी। सभी ऑप्शन की तुरंत जांच होकर नतीजा जो आएगा, जांच हम जनता के सामने रखेंगे। मैं कुछ ही देर में स्पॉट पर भी जा रहा हूं और अस्पताल में भी मैं तुरंत जाऊंगा।
Well, viewers, of course, Delhi Police reports directly to the Home Minister. The Prime Minister has also spoken to the Home Minister. He's also spoken to other officials. So monitoring is going on at the topmost levels. And Hyundai i20 is the one that exploded with 3 people inside it. It creeped up to a traffic light and suddenly there was a blast in it. It wrecked a large number of other vehicles around it. A large number of commuters also were hit. And some, of course, viewers have succumbed. We're getting reports now that the death toll has climbed to 10. 10 people are confirmed dead. There are almost 24 that are being treated at the LNJP hospital, the closest hospital. And, of course, viewers, the special cell of the Delhi Police, the crime branch, the FSL and the NIA at the spot trying to gather forensic evidence and work out whether this was an act of terror, and if so, what kind of explosives were used. But prima facie, viewers, we are being told from our sources that this was a terror attack, which means, viewers, for the first time since 2011, since the Delhi High Court blast, there has been a terror attack allegedly of this magnitude. Again, I want to tell you, viewers, we're awaiting official word. All we're getting is sources who are hinting to us that this might be foul play. I cannot confirm that to you right now. We're awaiting explicit word. I just want to quickly go across to some of our guests. Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, has made it clear that nothing is being ruled out. All possibilities are being investigated. Investigation is on. They're going to have an update given to us in just a few minutes. In fact, he himself is going to be going to the blast site. We're also told that he's going to, in fact, be also going to the hospitals to oversee the relief that is being imparted to some of those that have been injured. Now, I want to go straight across to R.K. Yadav, former RNAW officer. We have Major Arya with us also, and of course, NND Dubey. Dr. Ranganathan also joins the broadcast. Sanju Verma of the Bharatiya Janata Party here with us. Sanju Verma, what can you tell us very quickly about your initial thoughts? Remember that this has all happened in the backdrop of a massive terror crackdown. Do you believe that there is the possibility of this being linked to a larger incident? And if so, what would that mean in the larger context? Sanju Verma.
Deepest condolences to the families of the bereaved, and I hope that those who've been rushed to the hospital, they recover soon enough. I was completely shocked when I heard this, but I'm not surprised given that, we've now unraveled something that could have led to a bigger disaster had those 3 doctors not been captured. And now it's amply clear that those 3 doctors, from whom 2,900 kgs worth of explosives, 360 kgs worth of RDX, AK-47, AK-56 rifles, etc. were recovered. They have implicitly or explicitly admitted to the fact that a larger terror plot was in the works. Now, whether you can link what happened in the Faridabad case to what has happened, in Red Fort and, the blast at Chandni Chowk, I think it's too premature to delve into any kind of conspiracy theories. But my simple point is this, that the bomb disposal squad, the NIA, the NSG, and the Home Minister himself, they have assured prompt action. And I think we'll have to wait for some time to find out if this was a
Okay, just hold your
standalone
thoughts. Sanju Arma, just hold your thoughts. There are more details coming in. I just want to go straight across to NND Dubey and also our reporter on the ground, Anshul. If Anshul is there, can I go straight across to him first? Anshul, what are the updates? We're told that Amit Shah has gone into LNJP hospital. I'm being told that, or he's about to reach. But nonetheless, what are you hearing from your Delhi police sources? Very quickly.
Well, the Home Minister will be going towards LNJP. He has just left from his office and he'll be reaching LNJP in the next few minutes. Post that, he's expected to come over here at Ground Zero where the incident had happened. Now, in the investigation that has been done till now, what Delhi police sources have confirmed to us is that the blast happened from the rear end of the vehicle, and this is the exact spot where the blast happened. Suddenly, the vehicle started to slow down, and then eventually the rear end of the vehicle had blasted. Prima facie, looking at the exact spot where the incident had happened and the condition of the injured and dead, it is not seeming like an ID blast that could have taken place. However, nothing has been ruled out till now, because if you could see over here as well, there were at least 3 to 4 vehicles that were lined up behind that vehicle in which the blast happened, and eventually caught fire. So this could be a CNG blast prima facie. But even at this point in time, there is nothing confirmed. No angle has been left out from the side of the Delhi police. NIA teams are also reaching over here one by one. They are also coming over here, as this is a part of the standard operating procedure that is put in place. So you can see this entire manner in which this blast has happened. Prima facie, from the experience of local police over here, it is not seeming like an ID blast, but nothing can be ruled out until and unless and proper investigation is done. There are no massive burn injuries on the bodies of the people who have been admitted to LNJP hospital, is what we can confirm as well. People who have died, their bodies have not turned black as well. So the death could also be due to an impact of the blast as well. Because
well, of course, Anshul, it's very premature to tell exactly what are the nature of the injuries that these people have suffered. There you can see Amit Shah on his way to LNJP hospital. He's almost outside that. He's going to obviously speak to some of the injured. Ananya is there outside LNJP hospital. Ananya, what can you tell us?
And the Home Minister coming in here absolutely at LNJP, and in fact the Home Minister coming in as we had reported very earlier, that after the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Satish Golcha, it is in fact the Home Minister that's come in here at the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Hospital, who is here to actually speak to the injured and to inspect the situation, at least at the LNJP hospital, one of the prime hospital in the national capital. You can see the Home Minister coming in here. He is likely to interact with, in fact, the injured people here and to see and take hold of, in fact, the situation here at the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Hospital. My camera person Sumit Jaguri will show you the kind of visuals, the kind of barricading and the kind of security that has been put in place as far as the visit of the Home Minister here at the LNJP is concerned. The Home Minister just come here a few minutes ago. In fact, it was the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Satish Golcha, who had visited the spot, who had been inspecting, in fact, here, and the traffic here was held at hold as far as the Home Minister's visit is concerned. But very clearly at this particular juncture, you can see a heavy police deployment here at the LNJP hospital, where various injured and in fact the casualties have been kept the nearest hospital to the spot. And at this particular point of time, the Delhi police is completely clearing off in fact any kind of a way. But at this particular juncture, if I'll ask my camera person
now from inside the hospital, and you can see the Union Home Minister. Let's split his visuals with those of the blast. There you can see the blast, viewers, that has led to the Union Home Minister expressing such concern and coming into LNJP hospital. He's obviously going to go to the ward. He's also going to oversee some of the relief efforts that have been mounted, and will ensure that first aid and other medical exigencies are met there. That's the Union Home Minister. We'll be under a bit of pressure, viewers, let me tell you, because we've had the Pathankot, we've had the Pahalgam incident under just about 5-6 months ago. That was in April, May. and April, of course, late April, and that led to, of course, a skirmish with Pakistan. Since then, Operation Sindoor has been in operation, hasn't been called off, and now you've had a blast. The antecedents of this blast are not quite known as yet, but there is the full possibility, the absolute possibility that this might be a terror attack, and it might even have something to do with the Pakistanis. And if that is indeed the case, viewers, that will mean that this would be a fresh provocation. Remember, the last big blast of this intensity has taken place in 2011 in the Delhi High Court, and that led to casualties too. We can confirm that 10 people are dead. There are 3 or 4 others who are grievously injured, and there are a lot of others, around 20, who are injured with all sorts of injuries. We don't know if they're burn injuries, viewers, but it would be highly unlikely that they're not, because there was a huge fire and there would have been an impact, and there would have been, of course, an exposure to flames. Some of these individuals were still stuck in their cars. We saw a tuk-tuk driver sort of dragging himself. He was badly injured, and his shattered vehicle. And those pictures coming to us also a little earlier in time. You see the mangled remains of cars and their bumpers and their doors and frames and chassis all lying around this particular area which was impacted. There is no crater which is leading people to wonder what sort of perhaps explosive or what sort of inflammatory material was used. I want to bring in Major Arya on that question. Major Arya, and of course we have with us former DIG BSF NND Dubey. Mr. Dubey, what do you think is the nature of the inflammatory material that has set off this blast?
Actually, the entire effect which I couldn't visualize, it's because of the wave. That's a side wave. And one thing which is coming out, that the vehicle was moving. So if the vehicle is moving, then thinking of a crater immediately at the point of blast may not be possible. And it's only the inflammatory material used in the charge what has been used, if it is a blast, because still the lips are very tight of the agencies, whether they are not coming out clearly whether the entire incident was as a result of the blast. It's only the casualties and the pattern. But I could see one of the visual for one of the media. I mean, a major body part was blown just beyond 200 yards from the place of incident. So it's very surprising, because the impact would have been so huge that such a major part of the moving
so are you
car
saying,
is blown
Mr. Dubey, that it could not have been
meters.
It could not have been an ordinary LNG cylinder?
That is my point. That that may not be ordinary cylinder or any battery or electronic type of thing. It must contain some charge, some explosive material, which can create this type of a devastating effect that is thrown throughout the complete panel of the car, more than 200 meters away. And the injuries also. Now the thing is that by this time, police must have seen the bodies of those unfortunate victims and also the injured people. That will also give some pattern that what kind of explosive it was. So I think that is not coming out. It should come out soon. But I have seen that plank of the complete body, there were the cuts. There were many cuts in the body. It was not exactly the hole, but it was a sharp cut.
Lacerations.
It was not a blunt thing which, yeah. So that is one panel I could visualize, but still I'm not very sure, because it will unnecessarily make the issue very sensational. But I am very sure that my hunch says that it's going to be a terror attack.
Okay, this is a terror attack. That's what we're hearing from our sources. Major Arya?
Rahul, this is exactly what I said around 10 to 15 minutes back, that it doesn't look like, see the complete, this area of devastation, plus the side of the door being thrown almost 200 yards. It can't be an LNG cylinder blast, because that is pretty small, right?
Okay.
And it is basically inflammable. What happens is that in any explosive, this thing is caused by some sort of an explosion. See, it's very early for me to say, it could be any conjecture that, it could be this or that, it could be plastic. I don't know. Nobody knows. But the way it looks on screen, the images that you're seeing,
So,
this
so let me
scale of
ask you,
devastation.
Major Arya, this is an important point, because if there is the element of terror, and there is nefarious, obviously a design to create some sort of a problem.
Yes.
The fact that it has happened in the Union capital, does that change anything? Does that mean that there may not have been a overt angle that goes back all the way to Pakistan, or is that not something that we can sort of divorce from the conjecture and overall thesis? Does location matter? That's what I'm asking.
See, absolutely. Location matters 10x. I mean, this is the capital of India.
Yeah.
Of course, location matters. There is no doubting that. Also, this whole thing about whether the people are from India or whether you've done it are Pakistanis, you know, it doesn't matter. The guy, the suicide bomber who did Pulwama was an Indian.
Yeah.
He was not a Pakistani. And we conducted Balakot. Adil Ahmad Dar was his name. So it doesn't matter. If there is any thread which is tied to Pakistan, anything that joins this to Pakistan, it could be an email, it could be a phone call, it could be radicalization, it could be money, it could be material support, it could be training. Right. Anything that joins this explosion to Pakistan, I think then we are talking about something else altogether. There is a big if, but if it does, then we are talking about something totally different.
Then we're talking about something totally different. Viewers, remember, we've been always told that Operation Sindoor is ongoing, Dr. Ranganathan. That's what we were told. Of course, there were many people who said that perhaps we shouldn't have called it off, because it's very unlikely that Pakistan is going to change its stripes. And of course, the nature of this horrible gratuitous terror is religious. I mean, there is no running away from that. And I want to ask you your views on this, because I know that you have some very clear thoughts.
Good evening, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, my very sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved. This is an absolutely terrible occurrence that has happened. And as you rightly said, it's too early perhaps to conclusively say one way or the other whether it was a natural explosion that happened in a car because of a CNG blast or whatever it may be, or whether it was a terror blast. But 3 or 4 things have come in the last few minutes from other channels as well. I think the car registration number has been publicized by a television channel, and the name of the owner has been publicized. The other thing that has come is traces of ammonium nitrate have been found. Some people are speculating that. On the other side, what also has come is that the explosion occurred at the boot of the car. That's where the CNG cylinder is, and that there were no shrapnel wounds on the victims or on the survivors. So it's very early to say, what is the reason for this blast. Having said that, at the end of the day, one thing is also true, that when you have a normal, unfortunate occurrence of a blast that happens through an accident, you don't have the Home Minister visiting the site within 20 minutes. You know, you've had many CNG or cars catching fires or EV batteries exploding in cars. That happens routinely in India, in Delhi. You don't have within 20 minutes.
And you don't have the Prime Minister immediately tweeting when there is an incident of this nature. So the Prime Minister has put out a post saying condolences to those who have lost their loved ones in the blast in Delhi earlier this evening. May the injured recover at the earliest. Those affected are being assisted by authorities. Reviewed the situation with the Union Home Minister Amit Shah ji and other officials. So clearly there was a need to do this. Just stay on with me, Dr. Ranganathan, Major Arya, and Mr. NND Dubey. I'm going to go across to Akash, who's there with us. Akash, if you can hear me. Akash, can you hear me? Am I audible? Yeah, this is now a ex-post put out by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He says that he has spoken to the Union Home Minister. The review of the situation has been undertaken. Other officials he's in touch with. This does now appear to be something more than just an ordinary cylinder blast, didn't it?
Oh yes, Rahul, indications are coming from the administration that it is more than just, a CNG blast or, a battery blast of e-rickshaw. Because right now, in fact, on the spot, I'm showing you the visuals where you have the senior crime branch officials, discussing, in fact, seeing the images in their phone. In fact, we have FSL team, NIA, and in fact, multiple agencies. I'm showing you the visuals from the spot where at around 7, p.m. today, we had this incident reported at around 7:29. DFS said that the situation was in control, but right now, what we are learning, and in fact, indications are coming from the authorities that this is more than just an ordinary explosion in any sort of vehicle. Also, in some time from now, we are expecting Home Minister here at the spot, and right now the whole area has been cordoned off. In fact, I'm showing you the visuals. The bus that was very much present, at that point in time here, and that's why we are seeing this bus here. In fact, 150 meters away from the particular area, the particular spot where I'm standing right now, we have, the explosion site where we are given to understand that, it was a slow traffic and this explosion has happened in one car. Anvish Srivastava, in fact, is reporting that how it has happened in a car. And, one suspect was in custody, we were reporting earlier. But right now, I'm showing you the visuals where we have heavy police deployment. And the, agencies right now investigating, explosion. We are learning that all of them have been shifted to the hospital. But right now, we are, in fact, expecting Home Minister, here on the spot in some
Also,
time.
Akash, let me just stop you there. I just want to ask you this. Following the blast near the Red Fort metro station, the Central Industrial Security Forces issued a high alert across the country, including airports, Delhi Metro, heritage sites, government buildings, other key installations under its security cover. That wouldn't be happening, would it, ordinarily, had this just been a cylinder explosion?
Happened, you see, Rahul, in the last 48 hours, we had those recoveries. In fact, thousands of kilos of explosives, in fact, recovered from, in fact, the Faridabad, the JNK and the Saharanpur angle. We have been reporting since morning. And then this explosion is happening where, agencies, in fact, sources within the agency are somewhere indicating that this is more than just an ordinary blast, possibly a terror angle. And that's why NIA is here, in fact, Rahul. And that is also a reason why we have this sort of alert coming from CISF, and in fact tweet coming from Prime Minister himself, where he is talking about this sort of blast and the losses to the property and life. In fact, once again, there you have the FSL team. There you have the FSL team on the site, very much in fact taking a look on the sort of destruction that has happened because of this explosion. And right now I'm showing you the visuals from this particular area. This is the Red Fort area of Delhi, where we have reported an explosion late evening today. And in fact, the situation, while is in control right now, investigation is happening as to if it was just an ordinary explosion or some sort of terror angle was there to it. We have in fact blood splattered across the area. In fact 200 meters we had blood splattered, and in fact a number of things, destruction. And also the eyewitnesses are somewhere indicating, Rahul, that it was a loud sound because of which in fact they were in shock as to what has happened, and they came out suddenly. And then we had several individuals who were present injured and were shifted to the hospital. There I'm showing you the visuals. FSL team basically are taking a look at the sort of destruction that has happened, making points. And also I have officers, I'm showing you the visuals, officers from the crime branch discussing on the sort of images that they have gathered, in fact the images in their mobile phones as to what might have happened. In some time from now we'll get clarity. In fact the police commissioner has said that how this explosion has happened in one car, and we'll get some sort of clarity in some time from now, possibly by tomorrow. We'll have some more clarity, but right now everyone is waiting for Home Minister who is all set to arrive at this particular site.
Well, we might even have an update once he's there. And so I just want to go back to Major Arya and Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, look, let's suspend belief for just a few moments and let's go along with the conjecture. Now, there is a problem here. We've had a situation where in the last 48 hours, individuals who are supposed to save your life, doctors, have been found as heralds of the apocalypse. I'm sorry to say, but that is a very serious turn. And it sort of lends a huge different perspective on what is really transpiring.
No, absolutely. And of course, all of us realize that this debate right now, this question is removed from what is happening right now at the Delhi Red Fort, because this concerns something else. And the answer is, Rahul, you can't do anything. You can't do anything unless you are ready to confront and address three facts. Number one, the first truth: there is no such thing as radical Islam. Rahul, if I read and follow chapter and verse of the book Biochemistry by Leninger, do I become a radical scientist? And every single time the apologists cringe at violence or retribution being ordered, they bring out the excuse or context or interpretation in order to hide the true meaning. In fact, it is the Muslims who are Islamophobic. That is, they fear Islam. They fear to bring out the orders and the commandments of their holy book in its entirety on Jews, Christians, polytheists, homosexuality, apostasy, heresy, dress code, wife beating, blasphemy, because they fear being called illiberal and hypocrites. So they end up condemning and branding as radicals the Muslims who are faithfully following the fundamentals. In a sense, they snare the fundamentalists but spare the fundamentals. Look, what is the essence of azan amplified through the loudspeaker 5 times a day? Quote, no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah 4062. You would have called this radical and supremacist if you didn't know this is from the holy book. Do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert, and kill them if they refuse. 489. Those who deny the Quran, their necks will be shackled. 4070. Polytheists are the worst of creatures. 98.6. Do not marry polytheist women unless they convert. 2:21. Those who disbelieve in our verses, we will drive them into a fire. 456. Are these not radical enough for you? Number two, the second truth: terrorism has a religion. When Pahalgam terrorists demand a recitation of Islamic kalma, check the ID cards of tourists, pull down trousers to condemn only kafirs. Terrorism has a religion. When Kashmiri Hindus are butchered, driven out, terrorism has a religion. When in Nadimag, 23 unsuspecting Kashmiri Hindus are lined up and shot point blank, terrorism has a religion. When 2611 Taj Hotel guests are spared if they recite the kalma, terrorism has a religion. When slogans raised from mosques, Ralif, Salif, Galif, death to Kafir, Nizam-e-Mustafa are made to drive away only Hindus, terrorism has a religion. When millions attend funerals of terrorists, when ISIS flags are unfurled in Jamia Masjid, terrorism has a religion. Number three, the third truth: different laws divide, not unite. Rahul, let's accept it. There is a parallel world that is inhabited by millions of Muslims, a world where they are not bound by rules, morality, ethics, propriety, by which the rest of us are bound by. Because their morality, ethics, conduct is not dictated by man but by God. Not for nothing did Dr. Ambedkar say, quote, Islam is incompatible with local self-government because the allegiance of a Muslim does not rest on his domicile in the country which is his, but on the faith to which he belongs, unquote. And we have accepted it. Let's accept it. Rahul, when you accept religions that exhibit predatory, supremacist, exclusivist views and practices, when you grant separate laws and freedoms to their followers, you are sowing the seeds of irreversible division. You are turning appeasement from welfare to warfare to warfare. So you have blatantly anti-Hindus laws like the POW, RTE, Endowment Acts. You have blatantly pro-Muslim laws like the Waqf Act. You have terrorists, PFI, cadres and rioters being released. And that is when you reach a situation where you are scared as a nation. Because if development and prosperity brought peace, Middle East would be like Dubai. But is it? So there we have it. As long as we are afraid to confront these three truths, you can't do anything.
You can't do anything, says Dr. Ranganathan. Of course, he's not talking specifically about this. These are more visuals coming in, viewers, from the LNJP hospital. Let's try to boost the audio and the NAT on those. Do we have any NAT? Okay, so there you can see, viewers, one of the patients clearly injured, and the Union Home Minister Amit Shah looking over him, talking to the doctors, inquiring about the exact situation there, patting the young man on the shoulder, saying that, look, my wishes are with you and I hope you get better. So that's one of the wards, viewers, that has been set up, obviously, to cater to all these individuals who are there, injured in the way they are. Some people are wanting to get up and talk to the Union Home Minister. There you can see another individual, another patient who has been removed from this particular site. On the right, viewers, you can see of your screens a badly injured tuk-tuk driver. There you can see him. Terrible situation, viewers. He's trying to take his tuk-tuk out of harm's way. Even in that condition, viewers, he's trying to hang on to his tuk-tuk, and the remains of the other vehicles you can see on the right, viewers. This was a devastating blast. Several individuals are lying there injured, over 20, 10 are dead. Viewers, the last time we had casualty figures such as this was back in 2011. Then there was a grievous blast outside the High Court. After those rounds of the ward, you can see the Union Home Minister talking to some of the doctors. There he is now talking to more injured, trying to get a sense of really what happened. The injured explaining to him what they thought they saw. You can see that individual holding his right ear, clearly injured there above his ear. Blood splattered on his vest. Clearly in a very poor state, viewers, and getting attention from, of course, the doctors there. So these are the devastating scenes that we are confronted by, viewers. I want to go across to Anvit, who's there at the site of this particular attack, or rather this, I don't know what to call it now, viewers, because clearly there is something much more than what appears to be the case. I just want to go across to Anvit. Anvit, what can you tell us? And then Dubey also there with us. Yes.
Rahul, I'm at LNJP hospital right now, where injured have been brought, and Amit Shah, the Home Minister, is here, and the other gate, his cavalcade is there, and ambulances are being used to enter the hospital from this gate. You can see many ambulances are parked inside, and all the injured are being rushed there. Even now, ambulances are rushing to the hospital, so it means the casualty figures are still rising. Clearly speaks, and Amit Shah is here, Delhi CP is here, senior other officials of Delhi Police are here who have accompanied CP Delhi. He had arrived here ahead of Home Minister Amit Shah, and the death toll, we are being told, has risen to at least 13, while number of injured is also rising because it's continuously ambulances are rushing into the hospital. Now, as far as the investigation in this case is concerned, police are on the spot, senior officials, in fact other agencies are also there. Now I'm sure it has already been seen as a multi-agency probe, and what certain things that from the investigation have been shared with us by the Delhi Police is that they have told us that it was an I-20 car that had slowed down in a heavy traffic, and then explosion took place. We are also being told that it was the rear side of the vehicle that blew up, and it damaged at least 6 to 7 vehicles in its vicinity. Hundreds of people who were there heard the explosion, and many of them sustained injuries. Many of them
Number of them, viewers, been brought to the LNJP hospital. Thank you, Anvit. I'll just come back to you in just a few moments. Stay with us. We are waiting word from the Union Home Minister. He says that preliminary reports are coming into him, and he's going to be able to give us some indications of what now the authorities believe this is. I don't think anyone is in doubt of the fact that this is something a little more than just an accident. Akash.
Oh yes, Rahul, you see, when this incident happened, initially the reports came that it's just an ordinary blast, but right now we are getting several sort of other inputs too, where in fact Anvit is reporting that how, it was an I-20 car where this explosion has happened. And in fact, CP just a while back was reporting about, this sort of explosion where the traffic was slow. It was a regular Monday evening here in this particular area. And this area, Lala Lajpat Rai market is there. In fact, this whole area is known for the electrical, appliances and the sort of, equipment that we see here. And every day, we see a lot of people coming here from not just different parts of the national capital, but also from the country, since they come here for the Red Fort. And that's when this incident happened, where, we are learning about this sort of explosion. Intensity was very high. In fact, a loud sound was heard by people. In fact, this particular spot, if I, want to give an idea as to what this road and where this leads to, on this particular side, we have, in fact, the Old Delhi railway station. And whenever you are coming from Old Delhi railway station to Red Fort, this particular place comes. This is the Lala Lajpat Rai market, and on the left side we have the Red Fort. And this road leads to, in fact, the Delhi Gate and the LNJP area. In fact, if we walk towards this particular road towards the Old Delhi railway station, we have around, 4 to 5 spots where blood is splattered, and in fact 400 to 500 meters, in fact, from the very spot where this explosion happened. And this shows somewhere the intensity. Right now, we know the premise that this blast has happened in one I-20 car. But what was the nature of it? What was the composition of the sort of, things that were used in the blast is something that is under investigation, and we have multiple agencies, NIA, Crime Branch, in fact, the Delhi Police, very much here investigating. In fact, the FSL team is, in fact, noting all the basic details of the sort of destruction that has happened. In some time from now, Home Minister is possibly going to give a soundbite where he will be talking about the initial details, the preliminary investigation, and we'll get some sort of clarity. But right now, there are several sort of theories that are going around. In fact, we were talking about the sort of things that have happened in the last 48 hours, the sort of recoveries that have happened from Faridabad, Jammu Kashmir, and also Saharanpur. And people are somewhere connecting the dots. But right now, we'll wait for the investigation. And as I can see, we have police officials discussing, several sort of things, several sort of images from the particular spot. We'll get some sort of clarity in some time from now, Rahul.
Well, clearly, viewers, it's clearly something a lot more than just a CNG blot. Let me just go straight across to Anshul. Anshul, yes. Anshul, can you hear me? You have an update for us. Anshul, can you hear me? Okay, we don't quite have him right now. Viewers, let me just quickly go across to YC Modi, former DG NIA. Mr. Modi, what do you make of this? Can we now, at least now, see or say that this is a lot more than a CNG explosion?
Yeah, the signs are that it may be a terror attack, though it would be too early to, because it was a moving vehicle. Then there must be a suicide bomber as well, because the vehicle who was driving, things are not clear. But we have to see the background. Last week in Faridabad district, one Dr. Mohammad Muzmil was arrested and by Kashmir police, and the ammonium nitrate powder, which was very inflammable, was recovered, and around 3,000 kgs of material which could be converted into pure ammonium nitrate was also recovered. Some weapons were also found, and involvement of a person who is a qualified doctor, the person belongs to Kashmir. So it is, all these developments create a doubt, serious doubt regarding this blast, and it appears to be, from the signs which I could understand till now, it is a terror attack, though nothing I'm sure can be said at this stage. We have to see that when some group is caught, it may be possible that they might have already supplied this material to other people, other participants of this group. So those people, after coming to know that there are other persons involved have been arrested, so they might have taken this as a chance.
Well, viewers, what we can tell you is that preliminary investigations have revealed that the I-20 belongs to an individual. It has a Haryana registration plate. We're going to try to get you more confirmation of who that individual is, but we're being told that the police have been able to put a name. Whether he was driving the car or not, we don't quite know. But I just want to go straight across now to Akash. Akash, what can you tell us about the individual who was driving this vehicle, or the owners of the vehicle, or even the registration of the vehicle? Akash, can you hear me? Do we have him? Okay, we're going to try and go across to Akash, who's there in our frame, in just a few moments. I just want to tell our producers to make sure that all the reporters are constantly linked in so that we can go around to them and get the latest updates. I just want to quickly go across to Sushant Sareen. Lieutenant General KGS Dhillon will be joining us in just a few moments. Sushant Sareen, what do you make of this?
Well, initially, it looked like I was ready to accept that probably some kind of a CNG explosion, but given the scale of devastation, I've never seen a CNG tank explode and create so much of devastation. So look, I agree that it's good that the government is being cautious before calling it a terrorist attack. They're not jumping the gun. There's no knee-jerk reaction. That's the sensible way to do things. But I think it has the hallmarks of certainly of a terrorist attack. Secondly, we still don't have all the information. It's coming out in dribbles, and we are trying to make sense of it. I and General Dhillon were on another channel just before we joined you, and this is what General Dhillon was on the mark when he said that, look, let's not jump the gun on many things, and I completely agree with him. But the information which is coming out so far is coming out from government sources itself, about the car, the identification of the car, that it is a moving car, how many people, was there one person, in which case, I think I was hearing Mr. Modi speak before me. He said if it was one person, it's certainly the possibility of a suicide attack. But if it was more than one person, was this an accidental blast, that the explosives were put in that car because somebody had prematurely declared victory in the morning and said that they've, impounded all the explosives in that Faridabad raid, and that now, everything was settled. And obviously some people got spooked and were running away and trying to find some kind of a safe haven. Again, like I said, we are in the realm of speculation. But if 4 or 5 guys died in that blast because they were sitting in the car, probably an accidental one, because I have not heard of a single case of 5 suicide bombers blowing themselves up in one go, sitting in one car. They're stupid, that's why they become suicide bombers, but they're not that stupid that they'll waste, 5 suicide bombers on a single attack.
Okay.
And blow them to smithereens.
So, okay, well, nothing can be ruled out, viewers, simply because the government hasn't ruled out anything. So everyone is conjecturing. On the right, viewers, NSG commandos now at that spot. I just want to go quickly across to Anshul. Anshul, what's the latest? And I want to bring in General Dhillon right after. Yes, Anshul.
So the NSG teams have just hit over here, and they have gone towards the spot where the entire incident had happened, and they have just reached over there. This is another part of an SOP that is being followed over here. There is a lot of echo that is happening. I'll ask the producers to please correct this. The NSG teams have just reached over there. They are trying to look into the entire spot where the said incident has happened. You can see that there is another team of NSG that are trying to reach the spot at this point in time, because the roads are barricaded from both the sides, and hence it is getting difficult for the NSG teams to also reach on the spot where the said incident has happened, where the vehicle is parked at this point. So definitely these visuals, I'll just ask my video journalist Ravinder Kumar to zoom in and show you in the visuals that yet again more and more security forces are arriving over here. They are still trying to get the exact details as to what was the exact incident that has happened. If you could just stay on the frame with me, I'll again try and show you the NSG teams. The NSG teams that are reaching over here, they are bringing these black suitcases along with them to the spot. They will inspect the entire spot and then come out with a conclusion. What kind of blast was it? Prima facie, what Delhi Police experience has been regarding IED blasts. It is not seeming like an IED blast according to the Delhi Police, but yes, nothing can be ruled out at this point in time. Other agencies are also looking at, specialists from the Delhi Police are also looking into this entire issue, and they will only be able to tell us with conclusive evidences as to what has happened, what was the exact reason of the blast, how did the blast happen, were any explosives used, was any flammable material also used, all these things are being looked into. These visuals obviously, more barricades are being brought on the spot at ground zero. The police is barricading the entire area, turning this absolutely into a fortress at this point in time. So definitely there is a lot of movement that is still happening on ground zero where the blast has happened. The details, the clarity has still not come out. The investigations are still underway. It remains to be seen what kind of blast was it. Was it actually a CNG blast, or was it some kind of new modus operandi that could have been utilized by such forces to carry out these attacks? Because the magnitude of the blast is huge. 10 people have lost their lives. More than 20 people are injured. Definitely the blast would have been a really massive blast, due to which these the casualty numbers are so high. It remains to be seen. In the next few minutes, the Home Minister will be arriving over here as well. What kind of briefing is done to the Home Minister, and what does the Home Minister has to say if at all he chooses to give a bite over here? That is something that is going to be very, very important.
Well, viewers, even as we speak, there are checks being made in buses and other transit points in old Hyderabad city. So there is obviously high alert across the nation. We are being told that Hyderabad police is on high alert, Srinagar police, Kolkata, Mumbai, Faridabad, Noida, Kerala. Everyone has been sounded out, including the CISF outside various airports, etc. AK Jain, former IPS, also here with us. But General Dhillon, what do you make of this? And if this is a terror incident, and there are, of course, connections, if it were to emerge that there were connections with the two modules that have been exposed, what do you think is the likely response? How would you view that? And if that is indeed the case, then obviously this is again another cross-border attempt at disturbing the peace. How should we respond? What do you think would be the likely response?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening, fellow panelists and all your viewers. First of all, as Mr. Sreen was saying, I would like to say these are early days. The information is coming in trickles, and there is no confirmed authorized press release or a confirmed report by any responsible authority. The information on which people and channels are basing their assumptions has come from a beat constable or a Thana SHO or someone who was a eyewitness or somebody who was just about there. They are not the experts to say whether it's forensically an explosion or ID or a CNG blast or whatever. Till the time an expert confirms it to be this way or that way, I will not hazard a guess, and I will request everyone not to panic. In the morning, we burst a module where very big quantity of ammonium nitrate was recovered. In the evening, this happens. Now, there are reports of one person, 5 people in the car moving, car slowing down. Initially, it was Eco, now it is I-20. Then there, I will not hazard a guess at all because these are sensitive national security matters. I would not like to be party to spreading panic. I would like to believe the people who are doing their job, let a responsible authority come out and say, this is this or that. And thereafterwards, we'll work on theories. I can give you 10 reasons on every theory which has been discussed in this channel and others as to why that theory is right or why that theory is wrong. And I can give it convincingly, but I will now, as of now, like to believe that it is an incident which has happened, it has caused deaths, and let's wait for the confirmed response from a responsible authority. Till that time, I think we should hold our horses and be responsible and not spread panic, because there are many people who are stressed, who are under tension as to what's happening. The morning news, evening news, and now this checking. All these checkings going on in various cities and places where the terror incidents can happen or have happened in the past is a part of the standing operating procedure.
Okay, well, we're also getting news that UP ATS is also at the blast site, viewers. Yes, General Saab, you were making another point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying all these checkings in various cities which have a history of terror incidents are a standard operating procedures of those cities' police departments to avoid any unnecessary panic, as also in case they have some intimation to make sure that citizens are safe. So as of now, I would like to believe that there is an incident which has happened, deaths have happened, and let's not add to the rumors.
Former IPS is also here with us. AK Jain, what's your perspective?
I was also under the impression that it might have been a blast in a standing car. But when police commissioner gave the statement that at 6:52, a small white car, it stopped at a red light and there was a blast and there were people in the car. It makes me believe that it is an accidental blast. After recoveries at Faridabad, people must be shifting the explosives from one place to another, and this might have occurred because nobody is going to give up life like this. There are said to be 3 to 5 people in the car and they have all died. So they can't be suicide bombers. So in my opinion, this is an accidental blast, and I hope it
No, but
turns
are you saying, Mr. Jain, that this is more than just an ordinary CNG blast, that this perhaps some material was being moved and that material exploded, But that would still
Yes.
qualify as an act of terror, would it not, sir?
Yes, it will, but it's not a intended blast. It is not an intended.
कार में एक ब्लास्ट हुआ है और ब्लास्ट के कारण कार और कार के आसपास की 3-4 व्हीकल और खड़े हुए लोग, ऑटो में बैठे हुए लोग इंजर्ड भी हुए हैं और कुछ मृत्यु भी हुई है। अस्पताल के सूत्रों के अनुसार अब तक 8 लोगों की मृत्यु हो चुकी है। कुछ लोग इंजर्ड हैं, इनका इलाज यहाँ पर चल रहा है। हम सभी एंगल को खुला रखते हुए इसकी गहन जांच शुरू कर दी है। जैसे ही ब्लास्ट की सूचना मिली, दिल्ली पुलिस स्पेशल सेल, क्राइम ब्रांच, एनआईए की टीम, एसपीजी की टीम, एफएसएल की टीम मौके पर पहुंच गई है और सभी प्रकार की जांच हम तेजी से कर रहे हैं। कुछ ही समय में मैं आशा करता हूं कि धमाके का कारण क्या है उसके निर्णय पर हमारी एजेंसियां पहुंच जाएगी और एफएसएल की सीनियर मोस्ट टीम भी यहां पर पहुंची। धमाके की सूचना आने के बाद तुरंत ही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का मुझे फोन आया था। उसके बाद प्राथमिक इंफॉर्मेशन लेकर मैंने प्रधानमंत्री जी को भी ब्रीफ किया है। अभी यहाँ से मैं घटनास्थल पर जाने के लिए निकल रहा हूँ और कल एक बड़े सवेरे ही सीनियर लोगों की टीम के साथ गृह मंत्रालय में बैठक कर इसकी डिटेल जांच की जाएगी।
सर, आपको लगता है कि इस हमले के पीछे, जो ब्लास्ट हुआ, इसके पीछे कोई आतंकी हमला है या कोई भी प्लानिंग यहाँ पर की जा रही है? देखिए,
हम सभी एंगल्स को ओपन रखकर सभी दृष्टि से जांच कर रहे हैं। घटना किस कारण से हुई ये अभी कहना बहुत मुश्किल है। जब तक विस्फोट के स्पॉट पर से जो स्पेसिमेंस मिलेंगे, इसका जब तक एफएसएल का एनालिसिस, एनएसजी का एनालिसिस नहीं होता, इसके बारे में कुछ भी कहना दिक्कत है। मगर हम किसी भी एंगल को बंद नहीं मानते हैं। सभी एंगल का हम दृढ़ता के साथ आगे जांच करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Well, viewers, 3 very significant points made by the Union Home Minister. We'll replay that soundbite in just a few moments. Number 1, all lines of inquiry are open. All angles being investigated. Nothing is being ruled out. And there will be an overview meeting tomorrow at the Ministry of Home Affairs early morning. There's Amit Shah now reaching the site of this blast. There you can see him crossing the police lines there. And he is entering that particular area to get a first-hand overview of what has transpired. On the right, of course, scenes at 3.5 hours ago, viewers, when the blast took place. You can see it was a very high-intensity blast. Now, what caused it? We're being told that it is not just an ordinary cylinder blast. So, what caused it, viewers, what triggered it, remains, however, in the realm of conjecture. Our sources telling us that this is more than what it appears to be, which is more than an accident. Now, how it was triggered remains to be seen. We know that an I-20 suddenly exploded near a traffic light where it was drawing to a halt right outside one of the entrances to the metro station, the Lal Qila or the Red Fort metro station. There's extensive damage, in fact, to the entrance of the metro station, extending all the way down the escalators. Several cars blew up, and you can see the remains of those cars and the chassis all charred and mangled beyond recognition. More than 10 people, we are being told, are dead. We're still awaiting confirmation, but we are being unofficially told that the death toll has crossed 10. We're also being told that several people are injured, some very critical, and they are being treated at the LNJP hospital in New Delhi, where the Union Home Minister was just visiting. He held a press conference, made 4 points, and I will quickly repeat those to you. All lines of inquiry are open, so nothing has been ruled out. All angles are being investigated, nothing is being ruled out, and there will be an extensive meeting to go over the facts tomorrow, very early in the morning at the Union Home Ministry. Remember, viewers, Delhi's security comes right under the Union Home Ministry at the center. I'm being told that the number of deaths now has crossed 10, and there might be more than a dozen people who might have succumbed to their injuries. So those numbers are still going to be updated, but this is a very, very sad happenstance, viewers, and condolences are going out to those who have lost their loved ones from many leaders across the nation. High alerts have been sounded across many cities. Hyderabad police undertaking intensive surveys and stopping various commuters in the old city as they go past. Srinagar, high alert. Calcutta, Mumbai, Faridabad, Noida, Kerala, all these cities placed on high alert. All major installations where the CISF is deputed, from ports to airports, have been placed on high alert. And viewers, this particular blast has taken place within 48 hours of two massive terror modules being exposed by the security forces across different parts of the country, in the north and in the west, viewers. And we are being told that huge recoveries of undetonated explosives have been recovered from the individuals who were 4 doctors, viewers, 4 doctors who were, of course, arrested and have been detained. We're also being told that the I-20's owner, the car that was carrying this inflammatory material, has been identified, and that the car itself has a Haryana registration. Anshul, let me go across to him. He's at that site. Anshul, what do you see?
So yes, the Home Minister has just reached over here along with the Commissioner of Police of Delhi, and they are inspecting the exact location where the incident has happened. If you could see in these visuals, very clearly it can be seen that the Home Minister is just now taken an observation of the entire area where the alleged blast happened, and then from there he has been briefed about the findings that have been made by the FSL at this point in time. Definitely a big message coming in from the Home Minister himself, where he is clearly stating that nothing can be ruled out at this point in time. The agencies are looking into this entire issue from each and every angle. The entire national security forces are present on ground zero along with the local Delhi police and anti-terrorist squad of the Delhi police. They are also present. UPSTF is also present over here. So all the agencies are working in tandem to figure out what transpired, what led to this blast. Was this actually just a CNG blast that happened in big intensity, or was there a new modus operandi that was utilized to carry out this blast out here in the national capital? That is something that is being looked into, but definitely nothing is being taken lightly. You can see in these visuals that the cavalcade of the Home Minister has now started to move away from here after he has spoken to the senior officers on the ground. They have briefed him regarding the entire situation, what the investigation has found till now, and in which direction is the investigation going. And now the Home Minister has left from here. He will continue to remain in touch with the top brass of the Delhi police and other agencies who are investigating this entire matter. NSG, NIA, all of them are present over here. The people who have experiences of looking at different kinds of blasts, all of them are present over here to figure out that if at all this is a modus operandi that has been utilized somewhere else as well, or this is first of a kind. If at all this is a blast with that intention, that is something that is being looked into, and that is the reason why none of these agencies are ready to jump the gun or come to any conclusion immediately. They will take their time. They will take the next few hours to carry out this entire investigation in a detailed and evidence-based manner, and then eventually come out with a response as to what led to this blast that happened over here right outside the gates of Red Fort of the national capital.
Okay, well, viewers, confusion over the number of casualties. And we're going to, of course, err on the side of conservatism here because we don't want to overstate the case. But some channels who are putting out numbers may not be accurate, or they might be getting conflicting information. So we're just taking it from official sources, and only after confirmation from official sources flashing the casualty figures. Let's hope that the casualties are low, viewers, because obviously the nation's prayers with those who are actually undergoing treatment. There, Amit Shah around the site of the blast, and you can see him taking great interest in what has transpired. This is clearly something that warrants close scrutiny and attention. So if this was just an ordinary cylinder blast, by now we would have known that. So clearly something more than meets the eye there. You can see, viewers, from the impact that this was a powerful explosion. I want to go across to General Dhillon. General Dhillon, the Home Minister himself now not ruling out any angles here, which suggests that perhaps this is more than what we initially conjectured. Sir.
Rahul, Home Minister not ruling out any angle or any theory or any line of investigation is exactly the way investigations happen.
Right.
Never in an investigation you foreclose the line, because you never know after 3 steps what might emerge. So keeping all the lines open and all the lines of investigation open and progressing on every aspect or every theory or every way the investigation goes on is a very matured and professional way of handling an investigation. So that does not mean that this is line A, B, C, or D is the most probable line. Only once the investigating team with professionals and forensic inputs reach a particular level of confidence and the conclusion, then only they will say, okay, this looks most probable. Till that time, all the lines of investigation will be kept open and progressed. It's a very professional way of dealing a situation like this. And at the same time, I would again request, let's not add anything which may cause panic, because it's a serious issue, it's a national security issue. And conjecturing in such a case, if I have handled Pulwama blast, which was more or less, the vehicles were blown off to pieces and not even traced.
Yes.
So I know firsthand how things happen. But I am also saying, let's not jump